What's up, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of The Capsule. It's been a long time. I shouldn't have left you without some Luke and Tali to listen to. I took a couple weeks off because I was working. We were at Move It. There was a million things that we were going to do. We're here, and I have a wonderful friend, colleague, co-host, mentor, friend.
Aww.
I said friend twice.
You did say friend, but that's the important part, isn't it?
That we're friends.
Yeah.
This is like how you do the waltz. Tali's in the building, everyone.
Jeez.
What's up?
I'm back.
Oh, and that is the energy that we're starting with. It's all right. We can we're gonna bleep all the swear words in the first 5 minutes to not get demonetized.
Sorry.
But we are gonna be talking about a f***ing insane person first. So K-Mel went on Instagram and bared his soul. Go on.
How important is he to the culture?
Disclaimer: I'm not a breaker. But from the day that I started dancing, I was around breakers were my first, we used to train at a breaking session. Mm-hmm. From my understanding, K-Mel was a legend.
Oh,
He's a legend. Well, what definitely was a legend. I don't think his legendary status has been upheld anymore. From everything I know, or from people that spoke about him, always spoke about him like he was a legend. I don't know from personal experience, it's not someone that I was watching when I was younger or whatever, but I also wasn't into breaking. So K-Mel, was a breaker. He went on Instagram one day and decided...
Unprovoked.
As far as I can tell, unprovoked, and decided...
Well, provoked by the Lord, but we'll get to it.
Yes, there we go. Decided that he was going to be repenting to Jesus. Do you repent to someone? Repent for someone?
You repent your sins.
Repent your sins to Jesus
the Lord
Christ. Now,
for the greater good.
His sins were aplenty. He's an insane person. So I don't want people that are listening who are younger, and this is going to make it you're going to go and check out now. I don't want you to go and check out his post because honestly, I couldn't I'm pretty not sensitive and I couldn't make it through the full post. It did something to me.
It's almost 2 hours long. There was no way anyway.
Oh, is it actually 2 hours long?
It's a whole, it's like an hour 49 if I remember.
Oh my God,
rightly.
I couldn't make it through 3 minutes.
Yeah.
I got to 3 minutes and I thought it was a 4 or 5 minute post.
No.
Holy shit. Okay. So basically this dude went on Insta and he had a string of posts, but he was confessing to some pretty horrible stuff, to put it lightly.
Trigger warning.
Yeah, trigger. I'm not going to go into details of what it was because I don't think there's a need. And also we have younger people maybe that listen, but some really, really adult, horrible stuff. And it just got progressively worse the more he posted. And under the kind of guise of I'm a Christian now and God would want me to repent. I'm not going to go into necessarily the religious side of it. What I can say is I don't really like when people use religion as a
front.
Yeah, to hide behind when they've done something. It's it's okay that I've done something because now I'm religious and that means I'm going to be forgiven. It's but also you're not forgiven on earth.
I don't think that, I don't know what his hour and 50 was about. Yeah. As I said in the comments, whatever you think you did here that you didn't do.
No.
But the fact that he spoke on what he did so soon, it's so what was the live about? Because it feels like that was just a lead in to a bigger conversation, but it's no sir, because 2.5 minutes in you're confessing very mad. So this is what it's about. But I skipped further in and he's smoking a joint and just asking rhetorical questions about the way people lean in their sex lives and do they favor such and such or such and such. And I'm are we repenting or are we doing would you rather? Because I'm confused.
I mean, look, here's my kind of take on it is it's not really a take, but it's he is mentally unwell regardless. That's almost the facts of the case. He's mentally unwell. To have done something like that, I think it's easy to say you're mentally unwell to have done something I don't think a sane person does those things. But to secondarily be on Insta Live talking about it like that and having that type of... It's
casually.
Just he's having some sort of episode, right? Best case scenario, optimistic person, that stuff didn't happen. and he's having a breakdown.
Oh, interesting.
That's like the best case scenario is that he's having a breakdown and he's just saying shit, Kanye West style,
right?
That he doesn't really mean, or is just saying shit.
Yes.
I don't think it's the case.
No.
But that's best case scenario. Worst case scenario, he's also having a breakdown, but he's now stuff is coming out.
I didn't get episode energy.
No?
I didn't get episode energy. Not to trivialize episodes. I just got creepy uncle not knowing any better.
But like, you think in his right mind to be like, oh yeah, I actually think that's normal.
No, I don't think he thinks it's normal. I think he thinks it's normal to say it as casually as he did.
He had some energy, like, I don't remember exactly what he said, and I didn't want to go back and watch it to clarify, but he had some energy of like, oh, you know how it goes? It just be like that. And I was like, certainly do not be like that. Like,
but I don't think he's alone in thinking that though.
That's also a wider issue.
Because that's why I give it like creepy uncle, like overarching thing is like, I don't personally know a man like him, but I know that they exist and I know that his opinion is not singular. I know there are men that think that what he did doesn't qualify as what he even said that it does. We're being so cryptic. If you don't know what we're talking about, just skip to the next
for real.
topic, to be honest. But it's like, get off social media. Like, apologize. Are the people that you're talking about watching? Do you know that? So like, you're not reaching the people that you need to anyway. That's what I mean. There's so many things that don't add up that I'm like. And then he's just in the comments to everyone like doing up Jesus talk, and it's just like you can cloak it up in this all you want, sir.
No. And I don't like. I mean, I don't want to go too much into what I'm about to say, but it's like I think I'm always hesitant of like, I said this to you, of like dragging up stuff that's like open conversations or accusations, because we don't know everything about the situation. Also, sometimes you can make things more complicated when there's an accusation. It's like things need to be handled in a certain way, and it's not always the case of like it needing to be broadcast on a podcast. Yes. However, when you're the one saying it out of your own mouth, like there's no due process after that. That's a confession, job done. Like there's no like, oh, we have to look into this to see what's going on. It's like
are you turning yourself in?
Like, job done.
Like what is happening? I think because it kickstarted a couple of people posting in their stories, as happens like cyclically, about, you know, groomers and predators in the scene and what are we doing about it, and nothing, clearly, but like we're not doing anything about it. And it's like, unless we're really gonna pick it up, I think we all have to accept that we don't know what to do with info of this nature, and as such hand it to a person that does, even if it's someone outside the scene. I know it's like, police don't do anything, I get that. I don't know that because I don't have that experience, but like we clearly don't know what to do about this. So let's stop acting like we do and then reaching the point that we always reach, just like a stalemate, and then just going back to our lives like it doesn't matter to us anymore. Like I find it really frustrating, and this secondhand info thing doesn't work. Like if you don't know anything, you don't know, and why you would want to go out of your way to get to know is odd to me. I don't go seeking out unsavory information about other people. And if you do know, that is when you do have a responsibility to find out what to do with this information. And then another thing, and this is bigger picture, is just like never forget to center the victim and what the victim might want to take place. And if they have dealt with it, don't want it dealing with publicly / don't want it going to the authorities, that is their prerogative, and they must, it can be, but you know, gently maybe held so that they do proceed. But it's again like centering them, and why are you pushing them to do more about it? It's easy to like tell someone else how they should deal with something that happened to them, but it's like they have also a choice to like. There's certain situations where it's like if you're being manipulated or whatever,
that you might need outside help to be like, yo, you're not thinking
you're
clearly.
Not seeing this, but
that's one specific situation or one. And if you think that's the case, okay, cool. You know, that's one thing. But I think also it's like to not, I guess the word is like infantilize every victim. It's like just because something's happened to you, if the person is now saying, yo, I'm feeling this, or I want this to be the way I deal with it, or I've dealt with it, it's not to then say, no, you don't know what you're doing. Let me handle it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like give them agency over their own story. Yeah. And also, and again, I am speaking with like fairly recent experience with this, but like handle this heavy, dark information with some fucking care, and don't just like WhatsApp your mate and just throw stuff out. I heard, or like I saw. Okay, cool, like good. Okay, and now I know. So what am I now supposed to do with that? But I also know it's secondhand, so I can't do anything with that. So like I've had people want to talk to me about things, and I'm like, why do you want to talk to me about it? Do you want support in your knowing of it? Do you need signposting as to where to go with it? Because just like dropping it on me, I had someone drop something on me. I was on my way to a press night and I was like, babe, what do you want me to do with this right now?
I mean, we've spoke about this before, but it's like, I would ask you if you have capacity to listen about something. If I'm telling you I'm feeling a bit unwell.
Yeah. Like, your a funding application didn't come through and you're not feeling great.
And I would say like, can you chat? Are you in the right headspace for me to bitch about something, let alone something like that without any prior warning? And just a notification pops up, it is a bit wild.
It is.
But I think it goes, I have empathy because I think it goes back to people not knowing what to do, like you said, and being frustrated. And it's just like, I get the anger and the misplaced
But I don't think the information needs to be the currency that we're throwing about.
Yeah, no.
And if you do know it firsthand, even more so. Well, I don't know even more so. Whether it's firsthand and or you've heard, either way, trading that around just puts the person that it happened to or allegedly happened to just at not risk, but like it just feels so disrespectful to them to just
especially without their permission.
Yeah. And like, I don't know many people who would be like, tell whoever you want.
No, please put this out as an Instagram story.
Yeah, like I really want you to make a multi-slide post about it, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Odd.
I think there's a wider conversation to be had, and I'm not saying this against you, but like I would prefer to have this conversation with an expert in safeguarding, which there's been a couple of people that have hit me up to have these conversations. It's not that I don't want to have them. This is, I don't know how to say this not rudely, but it's like, it has to be the right person to have that conversation. Just because you work in that field.
I can signpost and maybe we can link it.
Yeah.
So a young lady called Elsie, I don't know if that rings a bell, from 2020 of it all, kind of kickstarted this whole conversation back then, who sent out the tweet regarding...
Oh, yeah.
She founded a company called Our Peoples.
Okay.
And I wish I knew the tagline for what exactly it does, but she posted a podcast recently, which using her own experience talks through safeguarding and like SA stuff. And she's got, I can't remember, there's Nadia Gardner, who we do know, who I think is from Artist Safeguarding Hub, and then another therapist who was just, I haven't finished the episode, but brilliant and really articulate and really knowledgeable about the topic. So I recommend that as a watch, or them as a person to maybe have
I think like the thing is that's funny is like we have there exists safeguarding ways to deal with things.
And
and it's like I worked in schools for a long time and I worked with kids for a long time, and it's like you have to do safeguarding training every year, and it's like on everything there should be a safeguarding lead that you take stuff to, and then they have protocols that they like. I've had to do it multiple times where a kid had said something to me and I've been like, that sounds really fucked up.
Yeah.
And luckily I haven't had any situations that have turned out to be it's just kids like telling a story in a weird way, and you're like, and then when the person investigates, they're like, oh no, we got to the bottom of it. It wasn't what it sounded like. But I've had to report stuff, and it's like, you go and report stuff. You have to write down as they're saying it, everything they're saying as they're saying it, take it to the safeguarding lead. They do this. In nowhere in that does it say, text your mate about this. Way. So I think like the thing that's hard with this, to kind of like close out the topic, is like, the thing that I think is hard is that you can't, for better or for worse, you can't police a community. Like, you vigilante style, you can, but I don't condone that. But like, you can't police a community because it's grey borders on purpose. And I always say this about the scene, like when people complain about certain people in the world dance scene, or like even we could take someone like K-Mel, right? The fact that these people are in our scene is a horrible thing. And as much as I'd love to say, you know, anyone that even looks like they might be a bad person, kick them out the scene. Like those grey borders is what allows us to have some of the most amazing people in the scene, because people that would raise red flags in a normal job thing that are maybe even like that shouldn't raise red flags, but like that are autistic or don't know how to deal with, or ADHD or any of these things, depressed, or might not know how to communicate well and might rub people up the wrong way, will get fired from jobs, will get, you know, they won't be allowed to play on their local basketball team, whatever it is, but they're allowed in our community. And that's what's beautiful. And I think when you open the doors like that, you are gonna have some crazy people that come in with the nice people.
Right. Yeah,
and I don't think we can police it that, like the community in that strict of a way, you know. But what we can do is, I think our events our community is centered around dance studios, dance events, competitions, classes, whatever. They can have policing. They can have safeguarding leads. They can have, you know, and it's like when there's protocol and order, it's not just 5 people being like, you shouldn't be here. It's like, okay, take it to the person. They're going to investigate. If they find evidence, they're going to say that person is now no longer allowed in this event, and they can pass that knowledge on to other. It's
like that kind of bringing it back to what your immediate surroundings. It's like, okay, I have I have like the artists that I represent, like I can safeguard and I can make sure the protocol's in place as far as my eyes can see, without being like, but the scene has no regulations. Yeah, fact. Like, what can I do? What's my bit and contribution to that being better? Yeah. And I think if we all start there, like it would make for a nicer, safer place.
And a lot of these...
And just creepy uncles, get off the damn internet, that stupid man. And then I guess, I know you were closing it out, but there was a bigger thing of like the selective outrage around...
This is you're such a good seguer. I love a Tali segue. So good. Well, first what I was going to say is like one person that brought it to light, and this is like such a hard pivot from the topic we were just talking about, is a meme account called NotKidGuppy. Do you know this guy?
I saw things around that time, yeah.
I fucking love him. Yo, NotKidGuppy. First of all, I love you.
Do you know them personally?
Nope, never met the guy in my life. Second of all, I love you so much. Don't ever make memes about me. I'll do anything for you. No, so basically this guy is, his meme account is called NotKidGuppy, and he goes hard on like he's a breaker. But what's hilarious is like, I'm pretty sure his name is KidGuppy.
Okay.
So he's got an account that's KidGuppy, that's his account, and his meme account is NotKidGuppy.
Fantastic.
And he just, his main account is like tagged on his thing, so everybody knows who he is, and he just doesn't give a fuck.
And like direct shots as well.
He tags the person, like, and it's not like, in my opinion, I have a little bit of a more, I don't know, maybe
twisted
I like
humor.
Yeah, I like kind of like hardcore humor sometimes. I don't think anything he's saying is to be an asshole. He's just funny, but like sometimes it's about like someone will post something and he'll like zoom in on their face, or like, you know, there's so many things that like he'll post that's like, or like someone will trip in a breaking battle and he'll like repeat it. Just really funny shit. But yeah, all that to say, he brought a lot of the stuff to light. I hadn't heard about it because I don't follow K-Mel. I don't know. I hadn't heard anyone speak about it before KidGuppy did. I appreciate that he's like, you know, I guess doing the right things also with his account that a lot of people are paying attention to. But I just also wanted to shout him out because he's fucking funny. And also, there's a couple of other people that I wanted to shout out. Good. Do you know this guy, Jigman23?
Yep, great.
Oh my God.
He's really good.
This motherfucker is so funny.
He is fantastic, yeah.
Just everything, even if, like, and this is what I love about like good comedy is like, even if I don't, like there's stuff about crumpers that I don't know about, but like it's just so funny because peripherally I kind of get it. Yes. You see them always like when they all want to touch you and it's like 10 hands like grabbing his face. Oh my God. He's just fucking hilarious. So this is like recommendations for my pod listeners. NotKidGuppy, hilarious but a bit hardcore. Jigman 23. I don't think he's like hardcore.
No, it's more kind of skit vibes. Just great. But really good ones.
There's a new kid on the block called Go.Te.n.
No idea.
G-O-T-E-N. I don't know. But he does similar to Jigman 23.
Nice. Was it the one about how you think people choreograph, but how they actually choreograph? Like,
I don't know. There was the one that he did that went viral was like, or one of the ones he did was he was saying like when you ask an OG for advice.
I did see that one.
Oh my God.
I did see it.
And then everyone was in the comments like, yo, that sounds like Buddha Stretch. And he was like, yo, stop it.
No.
He's like, I didn't mean that. But he was fucking funny. And my all-time goat dance meme account is Floorslap. Did you ever watch that?
Love Floorslap, yeah.
They don't post enough. We need more Floorslap stuff. But I just wanted to shout out those guys.
I don't want to bring it back because
we've moved on to like...
But, no, not to that. But do you remember Dancer's Burp?
No, Dancer's Burp sounds hilarious.
It was a Twitter account and it was just gossip.
No.
Like but like in questions and anonymous, but like who slept with da-da-da-da, like it was bad, or who, it would just be like slanderous, but just daily tweets of just calling things out. And it's like, wow. I don't think that we'd manage... It could only ever work on X, I think, as a thing. We don't need it. We don't need it.
It's like the anonymous thing is. I just like, I love comedy. That's what I love about NotKidGuppy, because it's like he's standing behind it because it's like everybody knows it's him and you can see his main account. But also it's like I don't really fuck with the anonymous shots. It's like be a grown up and like stand behind it if you're going to take shots.
Yes.
But also it's like if the main, even like, listen, I'm saying that about NotKidGuppy, even if he does see us, I would actually be honored if there was something that you made a meme about. But like, if the end point is humor, like you're trying to make people laugh, I can take a joke. Like I've said this so many times, if people are like make fun of me or stuff I say or whatever, it's like if the point is not to be mean and you're just trying to make people laugh, like
it's okay.
Yeah, I think it's all fair game. Like if with any of it, even if it was the three of us like cussing each other or whatever, it's like if we start to feel like the cuss is more important than the laugh.
Yeah. It's like, hey.
But if it's like you're roasting someone about what they said or they tripped, go for it. Because as long as people are still laughing, I'm happy.
Have you spoken about the Chris thing already? That Chris comedian?
That's what, I was going to say. So, as you mentioned, sorry guys, I've been sick, so that's why I'm coughing. As you mentioned, the kind of selective outrage thing which NotKidGuppy was bringing up was like this comedian Chris D'Elia who yes, disclaimer, I'm a big fan of and I have been for a while, and I like watch all his stuff and watch his podcasts and stuff, so I'm not the most unbiased person. But he put out a clip, which I saw at the time, I saw in the clip, and then like I didn't really think much of him, because he said similar, like he's spoken about breaking before, or dancing.
I didn't think it was that bad.
Right. So he's talking about, I mean, we're going to watch it, but like he was talking about breaking. I mean, this is the thing also, it's like he's not breaking. He's talking about dancing in general and like.
About all kind of.
A lot of people colloquially, how do you say that? Think of popping and locking as breakdancing. They just see breakdancing as like shell suits and waves and spinning on your back. It's like, it's an 80s thing, but it's like also, guys, we have to step out of our little bubble and be like, not everyone needs to know everything about everything. Like, it's so funny because anyway, this is what I was saying is like everybody in the comments, well, no, not everybody. People like Rox, right, were commenting going, I'm a breaker for my entire life and I think this is hilarious. Right. And then there's other people who I'm clicking on their account and I'm like, you're not even a real like dancer. Right, yes. We're like, this is offensive and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, you got to step out of your bubble a little bit and look at how people look at us. Like, it's like, people are like, you don't know everything about break. That's not breaking. Actually,
they do make a living from it. How dare you?
And it's like, yeah, but you've probably made fun of darts players before. Like, or professional bowlers or whatever.
And I guess that is where the selective outrage comes in. It's like, it's all well and good taking the piss out of different things until it's your thing that's being taken the piss out of. Yeah, you got to, like how can you not recognize that?
Yeah, we've all done it. We've all seen curling and been like, this is a stupid fucking sport. There's probably people that dedicate their entire lives to curling and went to the Olympics and are so proud of their gold medal. And I'm like, you're just sweeping the fucking ice. Like, it looks stupid. But so does fucking spinning on your back. Like, you know what I mean? If you see...
So does standing in a sweaty venue all day waiting for your 30 seconds to show your stuff, and then waiting another 3 hours before you get another chance to do it.
Listen, there's a lot that doesn't make sense.
Or that.
Did you what, do you know the Kevin Hart clip as well?
No. Okay,
watch it. Soph, can we? Soph, say hi, by the way.
Hi.
Soph has a producer.
Oh, you've got a mic.
Producer mic now.
Nice.
She was so nervous. She was like, I don't know if I can do it.
Oh, is this a first?
I think so. Yeah, first producer.
I like it.
First time I'm allowed.
Yeah. Ooh. I said, I don't want to hear any more women voices on the pod.
Oh God.
Wow.
You know what's funny? Oh, never mind. We're not going to talk about that now. I was about to have a rant.
This ain't going to be an hour and 15 minutes.
Let's see. People already know as they're watching it. They know if we manage to keep it short and sweet.
Okay.
Wow.
Right.
So can we watch the clips?
Which one?
The Crystalia one, the Instagram one.
I felt quite abish then.
Run the tapes. I can't shout or scream or I'll have a coughing fit. So can you get it together? Guys, we're hiring for a new producer.
Like, who cares about breakdancing, you know? Like, breakdancing is cool, but, like, who cares, really? Because the person's just like, yeah, watch this, fucking boom, 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 boom. And then you go, and then you're like, okay, you know what I mean? And you go, what else? And they're like, that's just one of the things I do. I do, like, 5 other things, too, and I can... Oh, shit, man. How's that helping your life? Nah, it doesn't. Just kind of moving around like a fucking asshole. And then I do one cool thing and everyone goes, oh! And they try to keep everyone else back. Like, dude, let these people go. They're not going to riot. Fucking just because you did the fucking, oh, people, oh, if you let go, like people are just going to be like, all right, get me out of him, fucking... Fucking choke him to death. I don't like how he fucking took his heart out. I don't like how he took his beating heart out and ate it. I don't like that. I'm gonna fucking choke him out. You better hold me back, bro. Fuck, I can't get in there. I can't get in there. Mars on.
Fantastic reference. Like there's such dated references.
Yeah. But that's like, this is also what's funny is like, the thing of a comedian, and can you play the Kevin Hart one when you get a sec? The thing with a comedian is like you're trying to make the most people laugh. So that's the thing that people think about us is like take it. I mean, Kevin Hart. This is like this is an old clip.
Yeah, I must. Oh, so it is him because it didn't even look like him in the thumbnail that you sent me.
Like,
I will have seen it.
Do you remember the way my bank account is set up?
Yes. Okay. Laugh at my pain, kind of. Okay.
Yeah. So this is an old one from
This
Kevin.
is when he was at his best.
I've been in the clubs. I've been on the scene. I see what's going on. Do I like the clubs? No. Do I like the single life? Not really. But I'm in it. Reason why I go to clubs because my friends make me. Because they can't get in without me. So I have to go. Here's the thing. I'm going to tell you what shocked me the most about the clubs. I didn't know that dancing shit, like that whole dance battle shit, I didn't know that was real.
There was a clip
I thought it was just on TV, like with dance crews. That shit is real.
Saying she would not
like grown-ass men be battling, like face to face.
I've never heard that take before.
Oh God, that fucking cracked me up.
He's seen Cross for sure.
Yeah.
Grown ass fucking men. The shit that make me laugh the most, like when you watch people battle, is the dude that be calling the dancers out. He say shit you have no clue, like you never knew this was going on. Oh shit, that nigga in your house. He walking your dog. Get the dog. When did he get the dog? I got involved in one dance battle. I go to a club, right? I'm with my boy Spank. Now here's the thing, Spank can dance. Spank can dance his ass off. Personally, I think Spank a little too tall to do some of the dances he does. Spank like 6'5". Shouldn't do some of them, but whatever, it's his business. We go into a club, Spank walking in front of me, I'm behind him, right? When we get there, he hear a song. He was like, oh shit, this is my song. He dropped his ass down twice, bop. Now here's the thing, I'm right behind him, I'm small. His ass hit my lip a little bit, not a lot, but it definitely, I was like, no. The DJ was like, oh shit, them niggas dirty whining. No, we not, don't do that. Don't say that, don't put that message out there. I said, hey man, don't fucking do that shit in front of me. Go out there and dance if you want to dance. He said, all right, cool. He go out there on the dance floor, he see this girl, he start dancing. He ain't doing nothing crazy, he's just two-stepping. Him and the girl dancing. Out of nowhere, this guy walks up. He got like 5 guys with him, right? He grabbed the girl. He looked at Spank. He said, hey, man, you don't want this fucking problem. Now, in my mind, I said, oh, shit, we're about to fight. So I did what I do. I took a beer bottle. I broke it because I was about to stab this bitch in the face. I'm lying. I tried to break it. It didn't break, so I sat down. Listen, whatever. It has nothing to do with the story. It's neither here nor there. Okay. So I sit down. I'm looking, right? This is shit that was wild. When the guy moved the girl, he said, yeah, you don't want this fucking problem. Out of nowhere, he was like, yeah. Now, this is shit that made me laugh. When he was doing this, right? His friends behind him was like, oh. I was like, what the fuck is that? What's going on? What the hell is this? So he grabbed Spank's chest. When he grabbed his chest, he was like, yeah, what I got. Now, the bitch in me came out. I was like, what is it? What's in his hand? What does he have? He said, I got your heart, nigga. I got your fucking heart. I'm about to eat it. He said, yeah, I ate it, bitch. Ooh, it's nasty. Threw it back up. He said, take it back. Hit Spank on the head. Spank came back to life. Because technically, Spank was dead for like 32 seconds because the guy had his heart. So when he gave it back, I was like, yo, Spank, we should leave because next time he might not be that nice. He might not give it back. So Spank was like, yo, man, fuck that. He want to battle? Let's battle. I said, Spank, it's 5 of them, okay? You're not going to do it by yourself. Tag me in. He said, what? I said, tag me in. Hit my hand. I'm going to go here. I'm going to bring you right back here, okay? Just hit my hand. I'm going to go here with it. I'm going to bring you right back here. He said, no, Kev, fuck that. I got him. I'm about to get in the car on this bitch. I said, what? He said, I'm about to get in the car on his ass. I said, whatever, fine, do you. He said, when I get to the other side of the room, throw me the car keys. I said, my real car keys? He said, bitch, throw me the keys. I said, okay, I'm not gonna argue with you. Whatever, fine, okay. So, Spank started dancing, he gets to the other side of the room, he going off, right? He said, Kev, I'm at the car, throw me the keys. I take out my car keys, I throw them, hard as shit. When I throw them, this bitch ducks. When he ducks, it hit the glass behind the bar. All the glass break, alcohol fall down. The bartender looked at me, he said, you gonna have to pay for this shit. I said I would, but the way that my bank account is set up, I gotta check it in the savings. Y'all been great, LA. Okay, bye.
Oh, that was his closing joke.
Yeah,
lovely.
So that, like, me and Lee were talking about that when we first saw it. We're like, the part where he's like, yeah, I didn't know grown-ass men are big in the club dance battling each other, which is hilarious if you think about it. Like,
it is if you think about it. Yeah,
I think all of this stuff is like, yeah, you can't. I don't know. Dancers that are mad at that, I'm like, you need a hobby. Like, if you're mad at like someone making fun of the fact that, and it's so funny because it's like, it is a dated reference, but is it a dated reference? Because there are times when we like go up to someone and chop their head and like,
right.
You know what I mean? It's
don't.
No, you don't. We'll get to you smoking Kamile's ass.
That is not what happened.
Tali said you fucking. That's how she walked in.
That is not what happened.
No, I'm trying. I'm going to say the same to Cam. But yeah, it's like people do stuff, or like there's like they call it burns in breaking, like different things, or like the infamous like holding the cock is like, it's such a fucking cheesy, like, you know what I mean? If you think about it outside of the context of what we do, also the whole, like he was saying about like, oh, I thought we were going to fight. Like the thing of like having a dispute with someone and then dance battling it out is like hilarious story that we could tell on that topic.
But if you take it out of like Just a Boo finals or like Red Bull, like big venue, all the glitzy lights, if you just put it in like Trapeze or like Madame Jojo's and someone just walked in off the street, they would probably think they were on the set of a film. Yeah. Just like, this cannot be real life.
Yeah. 100. I mean, even Jump Off was like that. And like people actually getting angry in the battles and like shouting at each other is like, guys, it's a dance battle. Which I actually think as a dancer sometimes, I'm like, all right, it is still just a dance battle.
Yeah. Which, you know, what we spoke about off pod just brings those kinds of things into account, because like, what are we doing?
But yeah, I mean, I think, oh God, the people, if you're, people that were outraged at a comedian making fun of.
Yeah, I didn't think it was that I didn't think there was anything that was that offensive. Personally.
No, I mean, like, this is what I'm saying is like, as long as the thing is about humor, it's like you're trying to make people laugh. Obviously, you don't know stuff about breaking. It's like you're not like going and doing in-depth research in order to, you know what I mean? It's like, it's the silliest.
But it's that thing, and it comes, like it feeds into the topic we were just on as well. It's just like, sounds like a cliche, but just like keep the same energy / just like retain a sense of perspective of like how you view and like take up space in the world, and how there are subcultures that the majority of us take the piss out of. So that same grace has to be given to when people want to take the piss out of ours.
The same comedian has a funny bit about, it's not really a bit, it's like he talks about it on the podcast sometimes, but it's like, he talks about how, he actually like compliments breaking, but he said like beatboxing is the most useless thing you can do on the planet. Like he was like, he's like anything else, it like helps you in other ways. He's like, even if you're a dancer, like you can kind of be in shape.
Coordination or He's
like, when you're good at beatboxing, you're only good at beatboxing.
Fair enough.
Which is a funny take on it.
That is a fair thing. That makes me think, I taught in Switzerland a couple of months or so ago, and Buddha Stretch had just been there. He was on his way out as I was kind of coming in, and we went for a dinner with the organisers, and I think the couple that had hosted him, they were asking me what I did, and like choreographically I still don't have it like dialed down to a sentence stylistically, and then he kind of was mocking like the wordplay-ish, like Ian Eastwoody, Brian Pussy thing, and I was like, that's exactly that's quite close to what I do. And then he felt really like, I was like, are you joking? I was like, no, that is pretty close, like lyrical like stuff. That is what I do. But it's like, I'm not going to be outraged at you taking the piss, because there's some elements, some stuff around dance, like the mega abstract contemporary stuff that like I don't like. So you're allowed to not like it.
Yeah, and there's funny stuff in every style. Like that's why, again, it's like, that's what I don't like, is like the selective stuff. Like, is like when people are like, this like it happens all the time with freestylers being like, oh my God, choreo dancers, they're so cringe, blah, blah. It's like, have you seen yourself? Oh, they'll be like, oh yeah, choreo dancers can't freestyle. It's like, have you seen yourself try and do a fucking 2/8 routine at Just a Boo?
That's kind of how I felt with what he was touching on. It seemed like he was judging choreo as a thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, wholeheartedly disagree, but fine.
Some choreo is trash. Some choreo is really good. Some battlers are trash. Some battlers are really good. It's just like, if you pick the cringiest stuff and be like, that's all of choreo, or if you pick the cringiest stuff and you're like, that's all of dance battles.
Like we did it on III a little bit. It's like what you like, but just be able to be articulate about it.
Yeah.
And not just like, that's trash. Okay, you just sound like a hater. Like any offerings as to what you don't like about it, or why you like what you like, or you're just like riding hard for your corner of the scene and like fuck everything else, because that seems silly.
Yeah.
And like you might want to be invited into other areas at some point. So
and there's stuff you can learn from all of them, and I don't know. What's that dude I love? What's his name?
Some context. Is he a dancer?
YouTube.
YouTube?
Choreo.
Dancer? Choreo?
My favorite choreographer on the planet.
Oh gosh, really?
I
don't know if I know this.
No, you do. We spoke about it. What's his name?
I don't know.
He always does the like,
you don't know.
Manipulation stuff.
Oh dear. American? Where's he from?
What's his name?
I don't know.
What's his name?
Gosh,
so what's his name?
Fun for everyone to listen to, isn't it?
We can.
Shall we talk about another topic? What shall we move on while you figure it out?
Matt Stefanina.
Oh, not your favourite.
He is my favourite choreographer. How is he not my favourite? Put it this way, you
love watching his content.
Yeah. There is no choreographer that makes me as happy as he makes me.
Okay.
Like watching his stuff, I get such a smile on my face. Look
at the glint in his eye. What do you like about him?
I love how happy he is to be doing what he does.
Good.
It makes me so happy. Like watching him, I'm like, you're
loving it.
You're just loving life.
You're loving it.
Yeah, and it's just like his stuff makes me smile.
Good.
He's the best.
I was really I was like, I don't think I know who his
my favorite choreographer in the world. Besides you, of course.
I'm Rakesh.
Oh yeah.
You prefer Rakesh to me.
Oh no, but did you guys teach together?
No, he taught a collaboration with Lorene, who is
not Tali,
who isn't me.
But I'm sure she's great.
And I don't know if you saw, they did a combo to When I'm in Your Arms, Cleo Soul.
Maybe. I don't know a lot of... All right, I'm just going to say it. I'm just going to confess to something on this pod. I'm not a huge fan of SAULT. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, fine. Neither am I.
Okay. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were going to come for me
I can
quick.
appreciate it as really good music, but I don't reach for it ever.
And this is going to be a second bombshell that I'm going to drop. It's similar to 70% of Kendrick Lamar's stuff to me, in the sense of like, I'll put it on and I'm like, that is a masterfully made track.
And
I'm never going to listen to
it again. Yeah, I think for me, SAULT... It doesn't sound the same. It is it's brilliant music.
But it's one like vibe.
Yeah, and as it lent more gospel and sonically wasn't doing loads for me, and that aspect, I kind of fell off. But I appreciate, as a movement, I love it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I stopped keeping
It's
track.
also just certain tones or certain musical preferences don't sit with everyone. It's like, it's not, I don't think they're bad at all. I think
and it started to lean, not ambient, but a bit more like, the song structure started to get a bit loose. It's kind of sounded like a beat pack almost.
Interesting.
The way that it was, kind of felt like looped.
Yeah. Like
a bit.
I know what you mean. Like, this is going to sound really reductive, but I don't mean it this way. It's like, it feels like dinner party music to me. It's like I would go to a SAULT album to put on if I was chatting with people, but it's like, yeah, it's like I'm not going to be in the car singing every word. That's kind of also, it depends what you like.
They did one that had like, I think it was 2020-ish, like it lent very heavily on like race as a topic and had more kind of lyrical content. So I also feel like it started to lean less...
More instrumentally...
Yeah, with like a line, a looped line. Right. But that album with Wildfire and Masterpiece... that was my peak SAULT enjoyment.
Interesting. I did not expect that. I thought that was going to be your...
Hey, that just leads me to another PSA. If you think you know how I feel about something, you probably fucking don't, so ask.
Ooh! Should say that to me. And I will add to that by saying, if you think I know about something, you probably don't, and please don't ask, because I don't want to talk about it off the pod. Oh no, I have to put this PSA out. You know what I've been getting recently, which is hilarious? It's probably not people that listen to the pod. It's probably other people, but this annoys me. You need to talk about, followed by their opinion. You need to talk about how that event was shit. Hey, I don't think that event was shit. Or ask me what my opinion is. What did you think of that event? Oh, I thought it was shit. Can you talk about it? You need to talk about how that person's an asshole on the pod. I like that person.
How often does that happen to you?
Whenever something happens in the scene that people have, like, I mean, not every time, like, I'm not the fucking first person they come to, but like a lot of people will come to me with that of like, you need to talk about my opinion. It's like, yeah, that's not how I would phrase that. Do. Anyway,
interesting.
Do you want to talk about Move It?
Oh, I thought you were going to go from SAULT to Simz to...
Oh, I should have. That would have been a better segue. You're good at this structural thing. You should be the pod dramaturg.
But, Podaturg, no. Move It, yeah, let's.
Okay, cool. So, Philip Birchall, who I'm not familiar with as a person. Like, I know who he is, but I'm not friends with him. Do you know him? Well, or?
Maybe a little better than you, but not still somewhat distant.
Yeah. Seems like a lovely guy. He spoke after, I think he was at Move It, although it's such a big place, I didn't see him, but I think from how he was speaking, he was at Move It.
Yes, I think so.
But he was talking about the class structure and you can go on this is one I will say go and check out. Don't check out K-Mel, check out Philip Birchall. He was talking about the classes at Move It and how much the teachers are getting paid versus like how much people are paying to get into the classes, and that it's not being enough. And he started a petition. He said on one of his posts that he's in talks with Move It and he's bringing them the petition to have discussions with them. So cool.
There was also stuff around like the environment as well, wasn't it? Like sound from stages and like packed classes, and
which is somewhat. I mean, we can, if Soph doesn't mind bringing up the petition, she could kind of read out what's there in a second. But like. I think on the classes thing, I mean, what do you have an opinion as yet?
Yeah, I've got a question before it. That's the payment structure's changed, no? Because didn't it used to be that like Move It didn't pay at all, and that whatever institution was hiring you paid you. So if you were teaching for a college, but so now Move It are hiring individuals and paying them per head.
I think I don't quote me on this. And Move It, don't come in my inbox and say you actually you got a detail wrong. No, but the oh god, that happens to me so much.
Yeah,
you were talking about my event and you actually said that it was the 3rd and it was the 4th, and I'm like,
has it happened? Yes. Like it's past tense
It's
now.
like, guys, it's fine. What was I going to say? No, from what I think, it's like one of those things of like, if you get up to this many people, it's this fee. If you get more than that, it's this fee.
Right.
And I guess because the class spaces, some of them are big, some of them are small. So it's like if you're teaching in a space with more capacity, you get paid more per whatever. I think it's something along that line. I don't think it
sounds complex.
Yeah, I don't think it's necessarily like per head you get paid something. I think it's like set fee up to this, set fee up to this, set fee up to this. Mm-hmm. Could be wrong, so don't quote me on that. You'll have to talk to Move It about that. Yeah. But and you said you had a question before your opinion. So what was your opinion?
I think the majority of teaching spaces, like I really struggle to teach in colleges. Like I just don't think they pay enough. I think that like studio rates are really high, and then this kind of plus whatever per head means like generally whatever space is holding the teacher, I think does come away with more than I think they should for that hour and a half of the teacher's time. So I feel like generally there's room for improvement there. I do understand. I get the argument that exposure is a thing at Move It. And like if those people then seek you out in your other spaces, then perhaps it is worthwhile for you. I don't know how much people ended up with. I think Phil did say, like, if I've got 100 and odd in my room, I'm walking out with like 50 odd, I think he might have said.
Yeah, I don't know what
that feels wild.
I think there is a 50 quid thing. I don't know that it's if you have 100, but I could be wrong. But yeah, I mean, regardless, it is probably not enough.
But I also don't know what the people that I don't know why I got hushed
Guys,
tones.
In case there's anyone from Move It listening to your pod.
In my mind, no one's actually paying to go. It's just all the different performers from the colleges.
Like how many actual ticket holders are
going to Move It, and what?
Well,
because I know it's kind of college convention vibes. It's to like for
much.
them to kind of get their students an intake. But what do people go for? Is it to watch performances? Is it to take classes? Like, what's the main?
Well, I think
pull.
Like for example, I don't know about the Saturday and Sunday, but I know for sure the Friday was sold out. So I'm assuming that means the tickets were sold out, not like we've reached capacity in the room.
Right.
So they must have, I don't know what their ticket sale limit is, but enough people must have bought tickets.
I don't even know how much it costs to go.
It's a bit.
It's a bit plus per class.
You pay for the classes and stuff as well, I think. But
I feel like we're slightly doing that thing that you posted about in the meme where it's like we've not even listened to the album and we're like talking about it because we don't have the prices of the tickets. I don't know how much people pay for the classes.
No, but it's like
I don't know how much per head the teachers pay.
Even if you're paying £5 a class, which you're not, it's probably 10.
Yeah.
But if you're paying £5 a class and 100 people are there, it's like, and then they're getting 500 quid. It's like I get regardless, like you feeling like you should be paid more, regardless of what it is. Yeah, I think
because if it's like, say that is the amount, whatever the amount, it's like 50-50 split at least to me. At least.
Yeah, I think the thing is from Move, and this has kind of always been my thing, right, when Move It has come up. Because the thing with like studios and whatever is oftentimes it's people that are community-based or whatever that run the studio or are trying to run the studio. I think the thing with Move It is like there's people that are creatives that they have like a creative board that they run stuff by. There's creatives that are like at the top, but they don't own it. The owners of Move It are not dancers.
Who are they?
Exactly. It's run by a company, like
because there's one master dance is happening in Birmingham in September, like a big convention, and that's run by NEC Group, which like run the arenas in Birmingham.
Yeah,
is it similar? Maybe
it's like Philip Birchall has it on his. So can you see it there? He has like it's like Immediate Media or something like that. It's like a company that I think they do other conventions basically.
Yeah,
they're not
Immediate Media.
There we go. Yeah, it's not a dance thing. And the thing is, I think from their perspective, let's start from our perspective. I get where it's like, they aren't dancers. Our money is going to this company and we don't know what it's like, seems very corporate and they're probably making money off us. So we're going to push back on all the same. I spoke about this with Red Bull when Red Bull are having issues in the dance scene. It's like, when you're seen as that, you're going to get harder pushback than everyone else because we don't believe that you're community based. And it's fine to not be community based. If you're a business trying to make money, cool. But the dance, and this is where I back Philip's thing, is like the dancers should stand up and be like, no, we want to, do this and that. Some of the wording I don't agree with in his petition of like, Move It have a responsibility to blah, blah, blah. I don't think, my thing with business is like, it's a game. It's like all's fair in love and war. It's like, you're going to try and get me for the cheapest. I'm going to try and get the most money out of you. Game on. Let's go. Yeah. And if I win and I get like double my rate, I'm not going to go, oh, actually, guys, sorry, you deserve to have some of this money. I'm going to go, fucking hell yeah, I won, and they're paying double my rate. So if you get me for cheaper, you won. Yeah, and it's like, I think they don't have a responsibility. However, who I think Philip is and should be talking to is the dancers. It's like, we are allowed
Teachers.
to dancers or like either. The thing is, the reason why people can still be paid less is because if we don't do it, someone else will jump in and do it. And if we can create a united front with any of these issues, this is kind of a Dancers Network vibe, but like the more we can create this united front, and if Move It start going, shit, like
everyone's saying
no, and we are getting less ticket sales and blah, 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 because we've got a bad reputation, then they're just going to pay more. But it's not their responsibility to do it out of the goodness of their heart, because that's not how business works. So I think it's like, go like definitely like always stand up and try and say, I think we should be paid more when you do. And then, reach a middle ground where you're like, right, we're getting paid as much as we can, blah, blah, blah. I think also with big business stuff and like conventions like this, you don't know where the money is going and where it comes from. The problem is it's a bad look. It's a bad look when you're able to do the maths.
Yes. And unfortunately, Move It for years have just had bad rep for how they do or do not pay their teachers. It
can't be that bad because all these colleges, all the students are like begging to go and to perform there, and it's the biggest thing of that. And this is where I have a little bit of a mini rant in a way of like the hypocrisy of dancers, because, and I've been on both sides of this, but it's like, you have these colleges who are like, we're preparing you for the industry. This is about like, I don't know, whichever colleges like perform that Move It or have stalls or whatever, they're like, we're preparing you for the industry. This is all about you becoming professionals. And it's like, well, hey, you want to teach them about not supporting someone that's not paying enough for the, like, do you like, that's who I'd be speaking to, is like these colleges who are like supporting like all these people that have the stands and whatever. If I'm Philip, I'm going to, I mean, maybe he has, I'm not saying this to you, Phil, Philly boy. He may hate my humor. I hope he likes it. Philip, I think you're a great guy.
Like you'll like it.
But it's like, if you go to the colleges and they're like, no, we actually don't think this. It's like, well, then you want to do a little strike with us one year and send a message, or come together as a group and we'll all speak to them, because it's like, you're saying you want to train these students to be industry professionals, but then all you care about is, but do we get our next set of admissions and stuff? It's like, you're the problem in a way, and you're also the solution. So I think that's one thing. I think the second thing for me is that, and I've definitely felt that this, and it kind of burns me every time these conversations come up, and I have to say it, is like the way that dancers speak about being credited, being paid fairly, being respected, blah, blah, blah. And this is not all dancers, hashtag. Do not treat the people that they work with the same respect. And it's like, I've seen people be like, oh, dancers need to be credited in all these music videos, like all in the comment everywhere. And it's like, I've watched you not credit me for filming your shit. I've watched you not credit my friends, not say thank you when it's your concept video. But when it's FKA Twigs or it's fucking Little Simz, segue,
nice.
you want to be respected. It's like, keep that same energy with everyone else. And like the makeup artist that did your studio shots for your portfolio, you just post them and you're like, oh yeah, this photographer, thanks. It's like, who did your makeup? Who did the styling? Where was the studio? If we want to go down that route, like where was the studio? Shout out the studio. And it's like, you don't do any of that shit. And then when it burns you, you're pissed. And it's like, that kind of annoys me a little bit. So it's like, that's my only thing is like, dance it. Oh, this is where I was going to go with my rant. This thing of, oh, it's only 50 quid to teach, it's not enough and blah, blah, blah. The standard, and I'm just going to put business out there because this is not about one specific person, but the standard from what I've heard rate for filming a class as a videographer, filming and putting together an edit, which for me is like 2 half days, right?
Are you talking about class video?
Class video. Like, you know, like it's like come to my class, set up, obviously film like whatever, like B-roll shots, film all the groups, film the showcase.
Right, okay. So not just like playground-esque, just like raw, like clip with music overlaid. Like an actual edit.
But I mean, we could even talk about that. But yeah, like with an edit or whatever, I've been told like is like 50 quid. But from multiple people.
Yeah.
And even for that playground thing, like with all due respect to anyone that takes lesser fees, like I'm not leaving my house for 50 quid. Like, like
I think where else does that?
I've spoken to most, because when I got offered it, I was like, what?
Absolutely not.
Yeah, I was like for me, 50 quid is like expenses. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and I'm not saying that like
in Kenny's defense, playground's offense, he's sat downstairs in the office. He's just coming upstairs with his camera and gimbal. Like
he films his.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, Kenny does.
But that's completely different.
So it's just like a little like add-on.
Yeah, no, and if you
or he does it for like. Let me not say that.
Yeah, no, like I don't think there's a problem of like doing class. If you want to do it, like, listen, I've done so many videos.
That's not a day rate for anyone, basically.
It's not a good rate. Like if we're going to do this thing of like no context, no nuance, just I deserve more. It's like, all right, then I'm going to charge you 2 half-day rates to film, even if it is a one shot or whatever. And it's way more than that. Like, so, which is, and I'm not saying don't ever do, like I've done class videos. I've also shot videos for free. I've shot videos for 25 quid. Buy me a Nando's and a coffee and I'll shoot you. You know what I mean? Like helping out people. Because there's context, there's different other benefits. It's like I might shoot you something and you might be like, oh, next time, I mean, I owe you $1 million for doing the pod anyway, but like, you know, next time, oh, I want to film a specific idea, you'll be in it or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's like, this is my thing with dancers. It's like on one hand, you're paying, 50 quid for the class video. Can you just film it, edit it, put it together, blah, blah. And then it's like, I'm teaching for 1 hour and you want to teach.
Yeah.
It's the same hour that I would have been filming at your thing and you're teaching. But I also have insurance to pay. I also have equipment that I purchased. And on top of that, I've spent the same amount of time training in my craft as you have in yours. Yeah. So if anyone's going to argue about who gets to be paid more, this is my only thing. And not to say the dancers shouldn't be paid fairly.
No.
Just keep the same energy with the rest of us. Because I know I'm not the only one, like photographers, videographers, makeup artists. I know they're burning when they see that stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I bought podcast equipment, so here we are.
No notes. I have nothing to add.
Simz? Ooh, still on the same vibe. What about it? I don't know anything about the video. Do you have context?
I know that it's the first in a while from her. I know that Chloe choreographed it. I know we've got Sheldon, Glenn.
Let's go.
Denzel. Can't remember other peeps, but just some of our peeps are in it.
Sick. And we love to watch a video and react.
Yeah, I've not seen it.
I purposely didn't watch it. Let's check it out.
Lord.
Hit it, Soph.
in terms of the visuals.
Just everything. I feel like that she fills that role, no?
Heavy as I actually thought it was going to be.
More like movement direction.
Don't quit. Keep building it brick by brick. Takes $1 million to send you to prison, $1 million to get you a house and a stick.
As I walk this wicked ground, keep me away from the devil's palm. As I walk this wicked ground, keep me away from the devil's palm. I am the light.
I imagine it was fun to shoot.
Yeah.
Well, let me not project that because music videos are generally not fun.
Yeah, I was going to say.
It looks like fun movement and like there was freedom in it.
Nice.
Lovely work, people.
Good jobs,
Another
little
one.
Sims.
Another one from the gang.
Yeah, I like that. I like the. I have like mixed feelings. Like I like when artists become like artists as opposed to just rappers.
Yeah.
But also, it's similar to the SAULT thing where I'm like, I'm not gonna put that on repeat in my car.
When it started, I was like, that would bang in an arena.
Yeah.
Like loud. I can imagine that. And I like thought of her Glasto set and was like, oh yeah, like she makes like big music. But I understand what you mean.
But you know, I heard this said about Travis Scott that he makes, like, from someone who had gone to a concert, or actually I think from someone that had spoken to him, said that he said like he makes music for the live show first, and then secondary is the recording of it, which when you listen to Travis Scott's music
makes sense.
With that in mind, it changes the experience. And I think, like, say that song, it's like, it's that. It's like, I agree with you. Like, I think if I heard that in an arena, or like I saw the
because I'm just thinking of lights and just like the whole thing. I'm not sure if it would be James Blake, but and it was years ago, but that made me think of another artist saying, you know, my work is to be experienced live. I used to say it about my movement, like it's to be, not sure I stand by it as much now, because I do think it has like a clear visual identity, but I was like, the richness of it is in the doing of it, not just looking at it. I don't think it's as impressive to look at as it is to try and, it's not until you try to do it that you're like, oh, there are complexities here that but that's true of most dance styles. I
mean, I was going to say, I feel the same about battles. Like, as good as YouTube is, I always say this, but it's like, as good as YouTube is and cameras are these days, it's like, it's not the same as being there in real life.
I hadn't been to a battle for a really long time.
God, she's
I'm
so good with the segues. So, Tali was at the OV battle, which
she killed.
Was run.
I did okay. I was happy with it.
You were one of the exhibition battles.
The only female pairing.
Ooh, pitting women against each other.
Of the 5. Yeah, because someone made a good point, actually. It's like, okay, you were the only 2 women, but like, so I don't think you necessarily needed to be with each other. Yeah.
And being like, no, we don't have to.
I don't know if this was the case for everyone. I don't think that it was, you know, that like a blow process is open, Toby, sorry. But he asked Kamile who she'd like to, and she'd said...
Before, me. Like, were you in the running already, or she just picked your name out of?
She said my name, because when he asked me, I was like, who is it? Depends who it is.
Yeah.
And then he said Kamile, and I said yes.
Yeah. Also, friend of the show, one of my good friends.
In which case...
that's why I'm even happier that you smoked her.
I didn't smoke her. To be honest...
See?
Bigger conversation.
This
I'm
is
not
the sofa
sure
of people that would smoke you.
I'm not sure I'd have said yes if it was a normal battle, to be honest. If it was like an invite, I think my ego would just be like, no, thank you.
Well, yeah, and
or just like fear would have more of an opportunity to get involved, because like just that context, just like haven't gone near it in years.
Can you, before we get into that, can you tell me the setup of it? Because it's 3 rounds.
3
Last
rounds.
one you danced together.
First round, you dance to each other's song. Second round, you dance to your own. And then third, Josh Costanzo picks.
Yeah, I was going to say, was it because, that's the All-Star Game formula.
Not the third, the first two, yeah. Which I love. Like I kind of got to do, I love this dance vicariously through
I mean,
session.
For me, it's like, and this is just my personal way of looking at things. Toby, I think it's a sick thing that you, like, I actually saw that he did it and I was like, yeah, that's dope. But for me, it's like I would never do it because like I hold All-Star Games in so much high regard. I'm like, for me, that's like a sacred concept.
Right.
Like,
interesting.
I know so many events have done it. Toby's not the only one.
So I didn't know that was the concept until you told me this go round.
It's a good concept.
It's happened a couple of times, obviously. And I know the whole thing of like enter solo, leave connected.
Yeah. Oh no, yeah, but that's for the...
This one, because you leave the third round as your duo. Yeah, and I just didn't get how. But I loved the first. It was just nice to have the second round, like knowing that would be familiar.
Yeah.
That kind of lightened up the first round for me. And again, there's no winner. So that, and I imagine, well, no. So I was going to say, I imagine people that battle regularly, like there is a winner, but that, doesn't really change how they show up for it. But I don't think that would be true because you enter to win, but not necessarily.
It depends. Like, I think it depends who you're battling, the day. Like, because I think for some people, it's like, if you don't think you're going to win the whole thing, maybe you go more, like, you're like, all right, even if I win this round, I'm not going to win the next one.
Yeah.
Some people want to battle the more high level person in the room. So there's all sorts of stuff to it. I think the one good thing is also, though, if you're not going in to smoke each other, the songs you pick are more artistic. So
we struggled to pick songs, and like the deadline was supposed to be.
But you talked about it.
The Thursday, yeah. So we actually, I asked Toby what are the rules, like limit of like how long, or we're all varied in what we listen to. Well, that's an assumption, but a lot of us, and like, is any genre off the table? And I was also like, I'm listening to things that like, I'd love to watch Kamile dance to that, but she might be wanting
hating it,
or not even hate it, but she might be trying to find music that no one would expect me to dance to and come at it from that angle. And I kind of wanted to be on the same page with that.
Fair.
So we spoke and ended up sharing like playlists of what we had in mind. So I wasn't entirely blind, which again, I appreciated. It would have been fine. I think enjoying it was my top priority.
Yeah, which is great.
And I think us sharing thoughts around music was helpful. So I didn't know on the day which, but like knew the pool. My music choice, it felt, I don't know, I wasn't trying to make a statement with like something acoustic from the heart. But when I listened to them all the night before it, that was just the one that I was like, it is foreign to me. And that piece of music I know it will ground me. I know I'll feel myself with it. So that's what I'm doing. But my favourite round was our third. I loved the third round. I had so much fun.
Yeah, I'm sad I missed it.
It was in general just a really beautiful day. Like, I forgot how much Messiah said it outside. He's like, I just love dance so much. And they just laughed. It's like, no, but true though. Like, I was just sat with my little plate of food after, just watching everything and absolutely loving it. And like, it's so casual, and obviously a lot of work going into the production of the event, but just for those of us participating and everyone spectating, just felt like such a simple setup, but just like such a rich and like lovely moment. And like call outs great, like some people, I think they majority younger, just like them kind of throwing down and putting themselves in the mix of it as well. Just had a really nice time, lovely time.
Sounds good. I'm hoping the videos come out soon.
I think today.
Oh, hello, I'll be watching. I'll write nasty YouTube comments.
I really recommend watching them all. Like, they were just brilliant. Like, Mason came out of the woodwork, which was delightful for me because, we had a period of working together quite a lot with Aaron Sillis and stuff. He says some very sweet words. Thank you, Mason, around like the I of it all.
Yeah.
And that kind of pulling him out of like the, not limits of Crump, but to a degree, just like where it could live. He was like, yeah, I was dancing for Rita Ora, and you were like, just do your thing. It was like quite hard when the music's trash, but you managed. So seeing him, Jordan and Douglas is really one of my favourite dancers.
He's amazing.
Ever.
Amazing. Yeah.
So that was a really lovely thing. And I just kind of wanted to stand on what I'd not too long ago been talking about at III and not say yes to everything, but like I could have talked myself out of it quite easily. I had said yes very quickly for a reason, because if I'd had time, if I'd thought about it till the end of the day, I probably would have said no.
But it's good that you did it, and I think it's like the battle spaces need people like you in it. As much as you probably got from the experience, like this space probably got from you being in it. I think actually the concept as well is really, I think you plus the concept, like shout out to Toby, because the OV battle is always good. Like whenever I've been, it's been good. He has some nice ideas, and it's always, you know, good music and shit. And like, I think there's something magic that happens when you're like exchanging with someone, and sometimes the fact that there's a winner robs us of the magic that is there. Like sometimes when people want to win desperately, sometimes you get some incredible moments, but also when people just forget about the win and just go, they're just in the zone. Even if there is going to be a winner or a loser at the end, like that's sometimes the most magic moment. So I think to remove that, and also to have someone like you who doesn't base their dance or their ego on how many you've won or even winning this or being better than the other person, I think it's a really nice, like pure example of that in the space. You know what I mean?
I think as well, you know, like gymnastics was never my thing. But as I got further into my 20s, I was like, and it's never fucking gonna be, because, you know, like the crash out is not gonna be for me. I just think that as I get older, as we all get older, it's just really, I think it's important for me to just keep dipping my toe in, not counting myself out of spaces, and not based on my age, but just like, if I'm not going to be all in that scene, let me not be in at all. And it's like, what a gift to have been invited in, like take that, because you're not going to, because I think it had all the components of battles that I do love and none of the bits that I hate. Like I wasn't, you know, it was a few exhibitions. I didn't have to sit through 3 styles and not know when I was next, or however many prelims and not know if I'd gotten through. Like that stops me from entering battles. Like I'm not doing it. And also stylistically, there aren't ones for me necessarily, but like that's the bit about it. And I said it on the day, it's like, I don't know how you lot maintain your energy on battle days.
We
honestly.
don't mostly. Just fucking fall asleep, wake up and dance.
Because like we surrender to not.
Yeah. I've seen people literally like sleeping in the corner, stand up and do their prelim. Like it's like.
And again, with III, I'd spoken about the dancer that you are when no one's watching, and like what can we do to like take that version of ourselves into performative spaces. And that was a test that I just don't get. I don't get to see if I'm even doing it myself. But I really think I did. I was really proud of myself, to be honest.
And I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
Me too.
So thanks, seeing as you haven't weighed in or pod or said anything or made any noise.
Did you have a good time?
Yeah, tell us about the OV battle.
Yeah, I thought it was so good. I love that I get to go to all those events and just
be
enjoy
paid to be there.
Even if I'm like peering through a tiny viewfinder. I felt like it was so nice to see you do your thing. Especially after like everything that you...
Oh yeah, because you were on III.
Yeah, because I was on III, like everything that you vouch for, then to just back it up and just be in that space.
That's also something I rate. And like you're a good role model to me in that sense. But like when you're teaching and doing stuff, it's like you also have to test those things, you know what I mean? Like I actually am really sad I was sick, because I was, even at the end of my sickness, I was like, I'm gonna go, and then I didn't. But it's like, I think you gotta like put the shit that you say to the test and make sure you don't need, even like teaching wise, it's like, oh, actually maybe that needs a tweak or maybe that needs an update. And it's, if you're not experiencing yourself, it's very hard to like share that stuff as a teacher. But But also for me, it's like a case of like, and I'm going to be at the Link Up Battle. By the way, Link Up Battle this Saturday. Sean is running.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to go and enter. But it's just like, I think, yeah, especially for me, it's like talking about the scene and stuff. I need to be a part of it. And it's interesting. You know that thing you said about like, I love dance. It's like that Messiah said. It's like, I feel like that's so, like, this is like, I've probably said this on the pod and I'll probably say it again, but it's like, there's so many surrounding things that I work on for the scene, like whether it's like meetings about things that should be happening, whether it's working with organizations to improve what they're doing, whether it's the pod talking about the scene, like it's all centered around this one thing, which is like moving. And like, for me, it's like the battles is like the core of it. For you, maybe it's like the classes or those spaces like Sweet Spot, which is similar, like freestyle spaces or whatever. But it's like, that thing for me is like, it's twofold. One is me moving, listening to the music, dancing, and the other thing is like watching people move. And it's like, there's been multiple times when I've like, I'm going to say borderline cried, like either dancing or being at battles, because I'm like, it's like hard to explain, but it's like, I spend so much time doing all this shit. And in my heart, I'm like, I'm doing it for this thing. Obviously I want to gain from it. I want to make a business. I want to earn a living, but I'm doing it because I love dance mainly. And it's almost like, not that I get scared, but I'm almost like, if that ever changes, I don't know what I'll do. Like if I wake up one day and I don't love dance, it's going to be incredibly hard to do all of the things that I'm doing because I'm running, that's the fuel that I'm running at. So then I go to events, these battle events where it's like fucking boring and I'm sitting through all the prelims and this and that. And then one battle happens.
Right.
And it like the room fucking blows up. And that's when I get emotional because I'm like, it's still fucking worth it. I'm like, yes, it's still here, that feeling. Or like I'll go and dance and I'll do some like intense rounds and I'll get lost for like half an hour of just like dying of sweat. And I'm like, yeah, like it's still fucking worth it. And I think it's like that, yeah, it's just such a nice, like, it is really like a simple thing that Messiah said of just like, I fucking love dance. But it's like, it's not something to take for granted because it's like, some people don't love it. And we know so many people like that. It's like, oh yeah, I used to dance and then I got this job. I'm not really, I can never do that. And not to discredit leaving the scene or getting another job doing something else. But I'm like, my whole life and identity is built around this one fucking thing. And it's like, it could be, like I can remember and this I always say to people, like it's like, you know, the wins and losses I forget, but there's battles, there's moments I can remember. I don't know, you weren't there. It was the MSB before last when Kane was battling Gabby, and there's a song that I love, and he was just going into it like that, or like watching like Zach and Isaiah do so well after meeting them for the first time when they didn't know anyone in the scene, and now seeing them like fucking smoke people, and I'm like, oh, I watched that come up, or you know what I mean? Like there's so many things that I'm like, fuck, I love this shit. And it's like, I think that's such an important thing for any of us. And I found that also when me and Lee came to do Orion's Belt, it's just like, fuck, I love this shit. And it's like, you know, there's been so many times of like, like, you know, I drifted away from the class scene and like, you know, if you ask me on a random day, I'm like, no, I don't really like taking class. But like that moment I was like, oh, I fucking love dancing. Like in the right moment, in the right song, the right person. Like I love this shit. And I think that's such an important thing to like
remember.
To remember, to remind yourself, and to have like, I almost feel it's kind of shitty to pity someone, but like for this, but it's like, I feel bad for people that don't have something that moves them like that. Like I've had that from performances, and sorry, I'm on a bit of a rant at the moment, but like, I remember that, like that same feeling with that same intensity is like, I think it was like, I watched Bird Gang at this Club Gel thing. I don't know if you were aware of that. It was like a competition.
The name rings a bell though.
Yeah, like Quayle, Kenrick, Kendra, Thomas Simon and Simeon from Bird Gang judged it. Right. And it was like, I think it was like bullshit. It never went to the second round. I think right. But it was how I kind of got introduced to the scene. Funnily enough, full circle, I found out about it at Move It.
Okay.
They told, there's this dance competition. I was like, I'm a fucking freestyler. Went and did it, did really shit, but like I met Kenrick and all these people. But when I was there, I was still a casual dancer, and they had performances in the thing, and Bird did one of their pieces when they used to have all the masks and like all those vibes. And I remember having that feel, like I didn't know anything about dance at the time, so I wasn't really being too critical, but I remember being like, and I remember that feeling was there, and I was like, oh shit, like I need more of this feeling.
Yeah.
I'm in, like, more than just trying to impress girls. Like, I'm in because I love this, you know? And it's like now 17 years later to still find that feeling regularly. Every time I'm at an event, a session, like a cypher, watching, like, I don't know, it's so crazy for me to be like, yeah, it's still there. And I'm like, for there to be people that don't have that at all in their life, or like something that they're that passionate about, is crazy to me a little bit.
Yeah, I think hobbies are important.
Yeah.
But also I get that not everyone needs that kind of extremity of feeling in their life, maybe. But I just felt it was really nourishing that how at home in it I felt, not on the floor doing the rounds, but just there. And like, I know that I'm embedded in the community, but I still take up quite a niche part of it now, or like generally physically exist in quite specific spaces. But like, just to be there and like Mace again, for example, and being reminded of like how much history was there. And there were so many young people in the room that I did not know at all. But yeah, it was just an all-round very, very wholesome thing for me. But we weren't talking. Soph was talking.
Oh my God, yeah, sorry, my rant.
So rude. Yeah, well, I think highlight of the night for me was the fact that G-Man, because he filled in last minute.
Oh yeah, Taylor wasn't well.
Oh, okay,
so
cool.
like to be like to witness such a raw moment that was so unplanned.
Because he was moving to Taylor's. Like neither of the tracks were G-Man's, basically.
Well, I think he did actually.
Oh, really?
I think last minute, but like Kane hadn't heard it. Kane picked his track for Taylor. Like everything that he'd planned was for Taylor. So and their exchange was just like they were Bluetooth between each other. Yeah, I feel like you. I feel lucky that I get to shoot at all these events and witness that as well.
Yeah, it's sick. I think also it's one thing, because you said something about before, I can't remember what this was related to, but I thought it's worth saying. Is like, I think something we forget, I mean, also, you've been to a couple of battles overseas. You went to the All-Star game.
Yeah, when Robia did I Love This Dance, I went.
But I think like for people that don't like...
And world, like breaking ones I've been to more.
Oh yeah, true. Yeah. I think if people don't travel a lot, and there are people that travel, but I still think people need to travel more from the battle scene. But it's like I think people forget that the UK is or they don't realize that the UK is very young in our dance scene.
Right.
Like if you go to Paris, like, because you said something about feeling like you're older and like still wanting to you put yourself in spaces. Yeah. It's like, I think like when I was feeling like that, almost like I'm like past
there's like loads of people my age or older still.
If you go to Paris, like when I was in Paris, it's like the majority of the battle scene, I would say, or the top level of the battle scene, the average age is like 30 something.
Wow.
Like the best people in the room.
Yeah.
It's like there's not like if there's kids killing, I mean, yes, there's amazing kids in Paris, but like the majority of good people are older. And there's some
Is that not the case here?
Like I think we've got like, if we talk about we
tap out sooner,
older good people in the battle scene, certain styles, certain styles are older. Mostly. I think popping takes a little bit longer to master, so you tend to get older people. But again, that generation of like Brooke and Marvel and those guys aren't doing as much as the people like who are also, to shout out Omni and Silk, who are like flying the flag at the moment, traveling, battling, killing it. They're quite young. They're like, 28 or whatever.
Omni's a lot younger than that, isn't he?
Is he younger? Okay.
But Silk's maybe about that age.
Omni's like 24.
He's more like Lauren's age.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's true. Because he did BBC Young Dancer, but it's like, that's very young, even for the popping scene. But the hip hop scene, the general age is very young.
Yeah, that's true.
Like 15 to 20 is the average age. And it's like, it does affect the way the dance is seen and done.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Because when you go, like, we were at Beyond the Moves last year and Yugson did a hip hop demo. And it's like, if you watch the way Yugson does hip hop dance, it's the way an adult does hip hop dance. And I don't mean that to demean kids, but in the same way that kids have different slang, different expressions, different way of rapping. If you listen to like a 20-year-old rapper versus Kendrick Lamar, it's very different approach. And you can like both, you could Playboy Carti's album, I think he's younger. It's like you're going to hear a very different take on hip hop than Kendrick Lamar, who's probably nearly 40 or whatever he is. And Pusha T, like these people that are older now. And it's like, it's the same with hip hop dance. But I think when and this is maybe the danger for us, is like when the only representation you're seeing of the dance is hip hop dance done by 21-year-olds, you then go, well, I don't dance like that, so I'm past it. Whereas I think actually the truth is like, I don't dance like that, so but the way I dance is still valid. And we're starting to see that with certain people.
This is a slight pivot. And one of my students in class today brought it up just about like wanting to take class but not feeling like, she's younger than us but not young like Gen, mid-gen is that new term that came around. Just not feeling like, not really understanding what the thing is at the moment, the way that everyone's moving and like where they fit. And then it had me thinking of when I took those classes last week and being like, our ears are different.
Yeah.
Like that's what, it doesn't stop me from taking myself into spaces, but it's like, the movement language has shifted and like the trend is for this and that's not the way we used to do it, so it's not for me anymore. It's like, well, it can like try before you count yourself out, but it is like that bit's really difficult for me. It's like I hear music how I hear it and I can't change that bit. But I think for dancers of our generation that might be a little bit worried about being in certain spaces, is specifically to class, and I said this to the room today, I taught at Playground earlier today, it's like we need more explicitly camera-free spaces.
I like that you put that on your story.
I think it's really important, and there was at least one person in the room that came for that reason, and I said to them, if I don't mention it, chances are there will be a camera, but if I'll be very clear when there won't be, because we just still need places where it's fine to not, it's not about being shit or like doing a style you have no experience of, but there's just something that happens when there isn't, no one's going to ever see what happened in the room.
I will say Clara has a similar outlook on battle footage. Like,
interesting.
I press her to film a lot of time. Because I'm like, please let me capture this. But I'm sure this is fine to share, but like a lot of times her thing is like, you know, well, especially back in her days, like all the battles were like captured by your memories. It's like those magic moments were for the people in the room only. And especially when, you know, you're performing for the cameras or whatever, it's different. Or if people know that they're going to be filmed, you know, whatever. And I think, I haven't spoken to her too in depth, but I know Clara's kind of like, has this thing of like, not that she doesn't like filming, but it's not a priority, because she's like, it's more about what happens in the room than, I mean, my whole thing is marketing and filming, so that's why I'm passionate about it.
Which makes, there's a bit of a shorthand with it for you that maybe wouldn't be for her. But like more so than the camera thing, I think is just, and again, I said it to the room today, like the stakes are so low for me now, but it's really easy to tell myself otherwise or forget that fact, or like I've got a name for myself and a reputation to uphold. So me going into this space that I'm not comfortable in or top dog in, like all of that. But it's like, I'm not trying to make this aspect of dance like my living or my go-to. So if I go in there and like freeze or don't do my best round, or like no one in the room knows who I am, or no one makes a sound for me but like is raising the roof, tell me your age without telling me your age, raise the roof. Just like making loads of noise for Kamile, like so.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I just encourage more of my gen to like, if you've got an inkling to do that thing in that space that you don't take up anymore, I have never, like you so can. Because part of me was like, maybe I need to do like deep dives for 30 plus, or like, you know, younger teachers that I think are really good teachers, like, will you come Vatican and like teach me and my mates? But it's like, I'm doing enough.
Yeah.
And like, let's all just put our big girl panties on and just like, to just take up the spaces that exist. But it's a danger of it getting like too micro, and not subculture-y, but just like too much breaking away from the spaces that exist. And there are ones that are safe enough, like they, you know, we can just go.
I mean, it's like kind of being like, oh, I've got a fear of heights, so I'm gonna like, I don't know, this is a terrible analogy, but like I've got a fear of heights, so instead of going to that cliff and looking over, I'm gonna like paint a cliff on the floor in my room. It's like, that's not the point. Like the more safe you make it, you're not actually overcoming a fear. It's like, if you make a 30 plus class wherever, it's like, but then nobody's overcoming their fear of moving into different spaces. I don't think the overcoming
the fear is the bit. Like the bit for me would be learning from such and such person, but I'm just more mindful of like, where I'm putting my time in. And I personally don't have an issue going to said class. So me spending time producing events for people that do. It's not where my time is best.
I think also like, I don't know if it's, maybe that is what III is, but like for us also there's a lot of questioning of the battle format. So like what Toby did created that thing where you, if like you said, if it was a normal battle invite, you would have been like, nah. But like, no. But yeah, the fact that it was like the right format. And I think there's a lot to be said about people do lots of different battle concepts and this and that, and then we're going to have this. And it's like the end goal is just to have a complicated format. And I think sometimes when you think like what Toby did, to credit him, is like the point of that format is not to have the most crazy complicated thing, it's to make the best rounds happen and therefore the best experience for the audience, and that's why it works. It was that's what I said about the OV battle when I went, the actual battle, because this was the session, the battle is the battle where you can actually enter, but it's like that format is not made to just be complicated for the sake of it, or like to be like, and now you throw in the Joker card and that means you can only dance on one leg. But it's like with his, it's like the point is curate the best rounds, the pairings that you don't expect. Which I think should be the point, is like for a bigger reason than just a concept battle.
No, I loved it. And I think he put a poll on his story not too long ago about another one.
I had an image of just like a poll on his story.
Nice.
Stupid.
I was like, shall we go from the top of the chorus today? Just like, I'm really tempted to say it in an Irish accent, but I won't. Top of the chorus.
Wait, why were you going to say top of the chorus?
Well, in class when I was teaching.
Oh, right.
I was like, I really want to say it in an Irish. There you go.
Yours
is better than mine. That was my poll in the story. That was my version of that. Sorry, go on. Forget it.
I'm so confused.
The poll,
what just happened.
Poll in the Instagram story. Your terrible dad joke.
Yeah.
Top of the story and top of the chorus in an Irish accent was mine. Doesn't get it. On we go. Next.
I just have one last announcement, which I'm very excited about. We have just confirmed recently, Friday I think, that I'm going to be at Flavourama in Austria.
Good. That's later in the year, isn't it?
It is. I want to say beginning of September, first weekend in September. We're going to be at Flavourama, and what's really cool is we're going to be doing our usual collaboration stuff, which is like some interviews and some content and some stuff like that. But the main thing that we're doing, which I have to shout out Flavourama. Also, I've always wanted to go, so I'm excited about that.
Amazing.
But one thing that we're going to do is basically they had a panel talk before, which they called their Voices Evening. And instead of having just a straight up panel talk this year, I'm going to host the evening, and we're doing like an interactive debatey games vibes. I don't want to go I don't know if I should go too much into detail of what we're going to do, but basically there's going to be some games where it's like, if you come as an audience member, you're invited to like share your opinions, to like, all right, I'm going to say stuff, you're going to react to it. We're going to play a couple of really cool games, which I'll tell you afterwards, that we kind of spitballed back, I think that's the right word, like but between the four of us, and came up with like with the best games for the environment. And I'm actually not surprised, because I'm always feel like I'm a bit more edgy than, but they were really down for some of the concepts. They were like, yeah, let's do it. And I'm like, okay, shit. Like I was just throwing it out there, but if you're down, I'm down. But there's some like, I want to like, I love things getting controversial. And like, it's just going to be an evening of like, what basically for me is like what I want to start building up more of this kind of like thing that maybe we could, talk about this off camera, but the thing that we could build into something that we do regularly at home. But it'd be like, how do you take the pod and bring it into a live space? I don't think necessarily the answer is just for people, which is fun for us to get drunk and then listen to us talk shit. But I think also this idea of like the kind of thought experiments that we do, or like things that we would debate about, is like, how can we translate that to an audience? So I'm super excited to try it out at Flavourama. I've got to come up with some really good controversial questions.
Nice.
But yeah, so that's going to be really cool. I'm happy that we can finally announce that that's happened, because we were kind of going back and forth and figuring some stuff out. There's a few other, every time I say there's some other things, I feel like, the memes about the DJs that are like, big things coming.
But there are big things coming, I imagine.
I fucking hope so. If all the things that I'm in conversation...
If they could reveal themselves to me.
Yeah, for real. And their fees with it.
Nice.
No, but if all the things that I'm having conversations about come to fruition, there'll be a lot of good stuff this year. But yeah, some good shit, basically.
Good.
Any last thoughts?
Oedipus, really quickly.
Go. How was it?
So Oedipus was playing at the Old Vic. With Rami Malek and quite a well-renowned actress that I wasn't aware of. I'm afraid I couldn't tell. Yeah,
Blake Lively.
No.
Have you heard all the stuff about her?
Yeah.
Sick.
And Hofesh Schechter co-directed, and his company were the ensemble. And let me tell you now, theatre directors, that is the standard of dance you get in your shows if you let your choreographer hire their people. The dance was great.
I've heard amazing things.
The dance was great. The lighting was beautiful. I didn't think the performances were good. I didn't think the acting was all that, and they used... because a lot of it's kind of delivering monologues to the people, and they were using like crowd noise for that, and there was a gimmick that I didn't enjoy.
I mean, I wasn't particularly happy with Remy when he was in James Bond, so I'm not surprised.
I didn't think he was very good in this.
Well,
I thought that
that's coming from two experts.
The subject matter, I didn't know the story, unfortunately, of Oedipus.
He's the guy that wanted to sleep with his mum. Is that?
I don't know if he wanted to. That's not what I got from this.
Isn't there like
this retelling?
What's the Oedipus complex?
But
is like something to do with
the storyline. That was kind of the bomb drop at the end of it all.
Oh, ruined it. Sorry, guys. It's a king of Thebes who unknowingly fulfilled a prophecy by killing his father and marrying his mother, leading to a devastating downfall for himself and his family. Yeah, that's the
I didn't get that from the depth of young Malik's performance, but the dance was brilliant, and I think that I hope that is the bar for which we are reaching from here on. So Lion, Witch and a Wardrobe's on tour at the minute.
It is.
It's coming
to Sadler's.
Oh my God, be kind.
Who?
Everybody.
Oh, should we
be
review
kind.
It?
Well, it's like it was made in 2021, firstly. But
don't start with the excuses now.
No, wait. So it just went to Brighton, which is the first of a few venues on the tour that are too small for the components of the show. So Brighton is it's built for a stage like Sadler's. There's a huge backdrop that has like 3 entrances at ground level, and then a moon kind of, you can be up top, and then you've got an Aslan puppet, which is pretty hefty, and the witch kind of travels around on this like mechanical jib thing. Brighton had no room for the backdrop. There's also like a cross arch at the front. There was no space for that. The witch was not on her mechanical jib thing, and they just about managed to fit in the lion, but there wasn't going to be a lion.
I just imagine like someone like hopping along with the broom between their legs.
There's a human lion and a puppet lion, so it would have just been the human. But I'm just like, why have you booked these venues? I'm confused. So there's people paying 85 quid for a Friday night to see like a black curtain at the back, witch just walking on from wherever side. Very, very odd choices from the producers. Very strange. I'm learning more and more that theatre producers, not exclusively, but a lot, odd breed.
Oh yeah. I mean, there's a whole other topic.
Sorry, I took us on a tangent there.
No,
but
you're right.
Oedipus, great for the dance.
Fantastic. 2 thumbs up.
Not
great. Sure about Remy. Cool. I've got to go soon.
Yeah, we've overstayed our welcome, really, haven't we?
We knew we would overshoot.
I don't think I've got anything to promote. I've just had I can't say anything, but I've just had a really lovely acceptance into a thing. That's cool. I have started a year of residency at a space in Hackney Wick that is really just having a space that's not your home to think about and make and do and write and stuff just really makes a world of difference for me. And this is someone that lives on their own with ample space to do those things. But it's just so helpful to like extract yourself and put yourself in there. So
pandemic taught us all that.
Yeah, ain't that the truth? But yeah, I'll stop now. Bye.
Wow. Actually, I'm kind of here for that ending. Peace.